Good evening, everyone. Ragewood here, back with another Godforge video. Fateless are back in the swing of things after the festive period, which means I am too. Now, I am aware I'm in my tiger onesie. That's because I have no shame, and I'm pretty much ready to go to bed after this. But I say after this because Simon has dropped another video, as they normally do on a Tuesday, which we are going to react to. There's a few interesting details in there regarding Beta and Guan Yu as well. There's some pretty cool things on there. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Now, as always, if you want to watch the Fateless video without my spiel, I'll put the link in the description down below. It's only about 10 minutes long, and I say I'm not going to watch the entire thing. We are just going to jump through, point out little bits with some juicy information. And the beginning part is super cool. You're going to want to see this one.
Let's dive into a couple of juicy things. So we are going to be finishing our cinematic, the opening sequence to the game, which is about a minute long, giving you some of the lovely story, the narrative that we're trying to say.
That's really cool. So that is the same guy that we saw in a previous snapshot that was shared with us. And I actually think, looking at the way he's sort of dressed, it is probably just a few clips forward on from there. I'll pause this here and I'll see if I can bring it up. What do we reckon, guys? Few slides later, I certainly do. And I get the impression that this guy might be one of the main antagonists. Still not sure on who he is as a god or a legend, even. Like, he's got this sort of beard jewellery going on here, which is tucked down in this shot so you can't see it, but something has definitely happened in between these two. Like, he's walked into a room, maybe he's opened up Pandora's box and now he's getting sucked into it. Who knows? But yeah, definitely a follow-on. I'm certain of that.
Or trying to tell. We're going to be doing that by the end of January. So right now, where's it at? The music is recorded. The sound production is being finished. All of the animation is done. And we're basically doing a lot of the tidy up of visuals. Okay, so the quality is high. This is probably the thing that I am most excited about, very proud of. It's extremely sweet. So far, like, the work has been phenomenal. So really, really excited for you guys to see that in full. We've also got our cutscenes for in-game campaign storytelling being done, right? So basically we're going to have them themed on, you know, the story of the game, obviously, and you know, some kind of like narrative going alongside that. I'm not going to play the sound here. I'm just going to give you a sense of how they feel, okay? And this is one here for Eka, but basically...
Yeah, that definitely was my first thought. Eka, you'd think pyramids or Aru, but it's obviously not. It's more that sort of Babylonian feel. We got some massive battle going on here. This reminds me of, I don't know if any of you ever played like Rome Total War or, you know, all that kind of game. Like, this definitely gives me that sort of vibe here.
We have still images that are then animated with a little bit of
Okay, parallax cutscenes as well. There's a lot to take in here.
parallax animation.
So what we have here, we have the mummy, which is the either common or uncommon for Aru. We've got the Green Knight from Avalon. We've got Geri from Asgard. This is Axolotl, the Saber legendary. You've got Koschei there too. Maybe, is that Thor there?
There's going to be, I think...
Hold on, let's go back. Let's see. Possibly Thor and someone else there as well. Well, no, maybe not Thor. But interesting. Whatever's happened has brought all of the things together. And if you watched the podcast episode that Fateless did with Mad Kappa, when they were saying that the Titans are coming back and everyone has to sort of band together was a potential storyline, This doesn't look like they're banding together. I don't know about you. This very much looks like everyone's out to get each other. But it's interesting they're all on the field of battle there. That's quite cool.
It's going to be, I think we've got about...
Now, Ika, this is probably Gilgamesh. Have we seen Gilgamesh yet? I know we've seen Gilgamesh's axe, because that was used as a reference in one of the 2D concepts for someone else. I think it was maybe like Shamash's sword or something like that. So Gilgamesh, is a well-known sort of Babylonian, Mesopotamian, that sort of area of the planet, sort of the tales of the adventures of Gilgamesh. So that would be my guess. That is who that is.
12 of these planned.
Okay, yeah, confirmed, because that is Gilgamesh's axe. Oh, he's grabbing his axe. He's going to go down there and sort shit out. Interesting.
Anyway, some cool stories that are going to be told through the cut.
And who's this sneaking up on him? Someone with horns? Horned characters with some sort of scimitar. Oh, has Billy picked up a sword? Is that what's happened here? Billy's grabbed a sword. He's going to go fight Gilgamesh. Satyr or the Minotaur, definitely.
Scenes. Again, I don't want to give too much of that away because that's going to be fun when you get into the actual game. Let's just talk about beta a little bit because it is important. The beta is going to be coming probably at the end of Q1 this year. That's what we're planning for. That's what we're ramping up for.
Which we all knew. It was going to be... They've always said they're aiming for around March. It could possibly slip into April, depending on timeframes.
What does it look like? We're going to have 100 playable heroes for the beta. We're going to have a number of the dungeons available, but not all of them. So you're going to be able to do anything which relates to leveling up and making your heroes viable in game. So things like ascending them, leveling them, having gear for them, weapons for them. So there's a whole bunch of stuff which will be available. Obviously, we're not going to be...
That we knew, to be fair, and I've covered it in previous videos.
Releasing the full game here. It's a beta, so there won't be stuff like PvP yet. There won't be a clan boss yet. There won't be the roguelike yet. So a whole bunch of the kind of, I guess, the more detailed features will not be in the beta. But 100 heroes, I think we're going to have 8 playable dungeons. The first kind of part of the campaign and storytelling. A lot of people have asked, will there be spending? Will the accounts carry over to like a live launch?
Okay.
And this is what we're thinking. So I love your feedback in the comments down below. We're thinking that, firstly, there'll be a full reset after this particular beta. There might be that we do a test closer to launch that just flows straight into the game launch and you get to keep all your stuff. But
it wouldn't surprise me if the test later on in the year is what we know a beta to be, where everything is going to be there, ready to go. We will have clan boss. We will perhaps have PvP arena of some sort. So it makes sense that if we do get that sort of, let's say, August, that when the game rolls out, sort of September time, that you get to keep all your progress because the game is near enough there at that point.
There will definitely be a reset. If we allow spending, we're thinking that we reward anyone who spends with additional currency when we launch. So let's say you spend, I don't know, $20, then maybe you'll get like $25 worth of in-game stuff when we launch. That's what we're thinking.
It's interesting. I like what Simon is saying there, or how Hades is saying there. If you are spending, you are going to recoup that back, especially if the account is going to be reset in the form of in-game currency. The question comes is, that $25 worth of in-game stuff, is it actually worth $25 or $20? Like, we all know that, Raid, for example, it's been so long since I played it, don't get me wrong, but I think it worked out something like, on average, it was like £6 for a sacred shard. An ancient shard in the community was considered to be worth £1 or $1. And anything above that, like, wasn't really... It didn't worth it. Like, if you had to pay £1.50 per ancient shard, well, it wasn't worth it for you. So it'd be interesting to see if Fateless do the same thing, like the Raid Christmas gift. It's like, oh, it's worth this much. And then really, like, is it though? I mean, I think for me personally, if I am fortunate enough to get involved in the betas, I probably won't spend. I mean, mainly because I don't have the disposable income nowadays. But even if I did, I think I'd want to keep it a raw, sort of free to play experience personally, which is weird considering how much I've spent on Raid and Dragoneer in the past. It's in the thousands. So I think to begin with, I probably wouldn't spend, but it's nice that they are thinking about those who do, because it also helps them generate income. Like they need money to develop this game, and they don't want to stop the whales from spending, and they will thank them later on. So I can see why they are inputting, bringing spending, or making it available in the first test.
Thinking at the moment, because we do want to kind of allow people that experience of, shard pulling, all that type of stuff. We do want to see what feels good. We do want to reward people for being beta testers as well. So if you're a beta tester, you'll get some shinies anyway when we go to launch, whether you're a spender or not. So there's a few things, but ultimately we want to encourage people that are in that mix to play consistently and to enjoy the game experience. So yeah, let us know what you think to that. Does it feel good? Or do you have some ideas around how you would run a beta test? So yeah, love to know your thoughts. Okay, so we're also doing a lot of work on animation. We're also doing a lot of work basically on everything, by the way. But yeah, animation, sound, VFX, like all of these things are going on right now, particularly focused on those first 100 heroes for beta. So things like Idol Breakers here. This is, I'm sure you know, King Arthur. We're doing the whole sword in the stone. Can we get it? Can we get it? Come on. There we go. So an Idol Breaker, that'll be like in a roster screen.
Obscenely large shield. I forgot how massive that bulwark. Like, it's like a Roman centurion shield. Basic, like, no one is going to hit him behind that. It's so big.
There we go. So an Idol Breaker, that'll be like in a roster screen. Same type of vibe here for Shamash. So we're reusing some of the assets, but
it's interesting. They said they're doing animation focusing on the 100 heroes for beta. Now, last we heard it was going to be 100 heroes across 5 factions. And I was pretty certain that it was going to be Aru, Avalon, Asgard, Kojiki, and Olympus, because those 5 have been fleshed out the most with heroes so far. But Shamash is Ika, so I mean, I could be wrong, like with any of them. Don't get me like it's not like I'm always right, although I like to think I am. So interesting.
And of course, champion design carries on. We're locking down those 100 heroes so that you've got them looking sweet, looking cool for launch. So we're focused on the 100 heroes 2D into 3D with weapons in terms of design. We're also focused on the bosses, which will form part of that experience for the beta as well. So we've got Guan Yu here, known for his massive beard, amongst other things. Very cool armor. Yeah, going to be a rare in the game, but a very special rare.
It still feels like an insult to Guan Yu, but they've said because the amount of heroes and pantheons and things like that, not all of the people can be legendaries, unfortunately. But yeah, massive war leader, and he's got even a massive statue built in China.
Rare. And basically we went through a lot of the kind of like concept work. We had the animators and the riggers basically telling us what we could do with a beard. How much of...
So I was right. So I put a video out, I remember when, a few days ago, showing that sort of leak in the Discord over Christmas of some guy with a spear, and I said it could be Guan Yu, but the weapon looked different, and maybe I was right.
Towards the final version here.
Yeah.
So again, lots of...
Yeah, because he had the halberd, which he's known to be seen with in a lot of game. Halberd, polearm, maybe, with the flails to distract the enemy. But the animation had more of a spear, so I was like, maybe it's not, but seems I was right.
Detail going in. This is a rare from the Jade Empire. lots of detail going in to design, into visual, etc. So that was Guan Yu done in 2D. Since then, it's actually been produced by Walter, who is one of our rock stars in 3D. And again, level of detail, quality of visual,
he looks very
super
cool.
important to us, right? It's just
Even
one
the
of the top of the
braces
list for me in terms of what we want to achieve. So Guan Yu looking super sweet, and then I'll show you his weapon finished as well. So yeah, got that kind of like halberd, I think it's called. Again, a lot of detail on the weaponry, just so that when you get these shiny toys in game, you're gonna like really, really appreciate them. And then we've got Tom in our animating team has started to do some work on Guan Yu animations. So I showed this one over Christmas, but if you didn't see it, this is Guan Yu.
So part of me thought maybe it's not Guan Yu because of the way that the spear is.
Heavy, basics.
It's like more of a stereotypical spear for, thrusting as opposed to the halberd at the polearm, which you could slice with perhaps a bit more.
Slash. Again, it's a rare, so we're not going like too nuts on animations. And then this is a Guan Yu idol breaker. A little bit work in practice, but notice the
beard physics.
Beard, right? The idol breaker, for him, the beard is a big deal. So we want to make sure that it flows nice and feels good. But yeah, it gives you an idea of the type of stuff we're doing.
And that is it then, guys. Short video from them today, which means this one should be a little bit shorter, we hope. Yeah, so some interesting details there brought to us. Cool to see things that are moving along. Spending in the beta, that was new. It's something I didn't know, to be fair, until now. Exciting times. Beta is coming. We have 90 days, less than 90 days before a select few are lucky enough to get our hands on it. But something else unrelated to Fateless, or I say unrelated to Fateless, something that I've been working on. As some of you are aware, I am building my own sort of like wiki/Godforge website, and I've been working hard to fill it out. So, a lot of people will already know this, don't get me wrong. But for those who haven't played, we've got some things now on Ascension, upgrading abilities, gear, attunement. Now, obviously, a lot of this we do not have details on yet. So a lot of this is my speculation and could change and is honestly likely to change. But for those of you who have never played this sort of game before, hopefully this will give you some tips on things to help you get started. I am going to do one for the imprint system that they're bringing in as well. And I'll need to do one for the weapon system that we will undoubtedly see too. But I know even less about those right now, so it's hard to feel that out. But yeah, go check it out. Let me know what you think. If I am missing something you think should be there, do let me know. And yeah, that's it. So take care, look after yourselves, work hard, but as always, play harder. And I'll see you in another one soon. Cheers.